you tired of looking the same year after year? You know, you keep telling yourself that this time will be different, but nothing seems to change. And this video is for you. You know, I used to look like this. I was about 200 pounds, fat, insecure, and had like no confidence whatsoever. If you fast forward, this is what my body looks like right now. I'm about 170 pounds and I have so much more confidence. I'm way happier with myself and I get more attention from girls. How I did this is by following a simple but effective formula that I will share with you if you just keep watching. Part number 1, the actual formula. The whole idea behind this is that we want to lose weight, right? And this is all based on calories in and calories out. You know, you give your body less calories than it needs to maintain the weight that you have right now. How we follow this is by going into what's called a calorie deficit. And you probably heard this word a couple of times before, but you know, it basically is that when we give our body less calories than it needs to maintain our weight, it needs to get energy from somewhere else. And that's when it starts to use our fat instead as fuel. This right here is the main thing that took me from looking like this to now looking like this. Quick side note, if you want my help to get similar results to me, you know, where you get so much more confidence and more attention from girls, then just DM me on Instagram. I'll put my username on the screen right here, but also in the description. When I said eating less calories than your body needs to maintain your weight, you probably got a bit scared, right? Because I don't know about you, but for me personally, the first time that I heard the word calorie deficit, I instantly just started thinking about, oh, now I gotta eat salads every single day and just drink water, right? Here's the thing, that is far from the truth, and I'm gonna explain why in the next part. Part number 2, diet. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't like using the word diet like whatsoever, you know, because it has this bad reputation of something that you do for a couple of weeks or a couple of months and then you quit and go back to your old habits, right? This is exactly what happened to me. You know, I started following this diet, right? I did it consistently for a couple of weeks and I lost some weight, but then I stopped doing the good habits that got me there. And guess what happened next? That weight that I lost just slowly came back again because I went back to my old ways of eating. What I like to think about it personally is like a lifestyle change rather than a diet. You know, why not look good and be healthy for as long as possible if we have the choice, right? So here's what I did. I started to focus on whole foods as much as possible. You know, foods with like no bullshit ingredients or weird preservatives, like rice, potatoes, fish, meat, and so on. You know, slowly start to remove the processed foods out of your diet and replace them with just normal healthy food. I like to eat clean about 6 days a week. And you know, when I say eating clean, I don't mean this like boring ass chicken, broccoli, and rice every single day, but just real food, but you can mix it up however you want. Some days I have fish, some days I have beef, some days I have chicken, and so on. I've tried things like intermittent fasting before and all those different things, but for me personally, I just much prefer having like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you know, because I have this like steady energy throughout the day instead of these like weird dips all the time. My focus when it comes to the food is just to eat as much protein as possible. You know, whenever I have a meal, I like to cover the majority of my plate with some kind of protein, whether it's fish, meat, chicken, or whatever you like. Why I do this is because it helps to build muscle, but more importantly, it's because protein compared to fats and carbs, they keep you full for the longest, so it's so much easier to stay consistent. Now, I said I eat clean about 6 days a week, right? So on Sundays, that's when I like to treat myself. But when I say treat myself, I don't mean, you know, stuffing my face for the entire day, but at least just treat myself to one meal that I really want, whatever I can think of. You know, if I want ice cream, I'm gonna have some ice cream. If I want a burger and fries, I'm gonna have a burger and fries. And you know, by doing it this way, it keeps me so much more motivated to actually stay clean during the week, you know, because I have something to reward myself with at the end of the week. Here's the thing, and I want you to really remember this. Make it enjoyable for yourself, you know, because that is the key when it comes to consistency. You know, just think to yourself, how can you stay consistent with something if you don't even enjoy what you're doing? You're just going to feel like miserable every single day. You know, just eat the things that you actually enjoy. There are so many different ways that you can prepare the same meal so it actually tastes good every single time. You know, just look up different recipes and experiment for yourself. You don't know what's good before you try it. As I said earlier, slowly replace the processed foods in your lifestyle and replace them with the real actual food that you enjoy. You know, cut out the sugar and junk food as much as possible and focus on eating more protein. If you were like me and like to drink soda, right, just replace the full sugar one with the diet version instead. And this way you can still enjoy yourself. Doing small things like this makes a massive difference. You know, don't rush the process. Remember what I said earlier. this is gonna be a new lifestyle for you, right? So slowly just work yourself into it. Because if you try to do like everything at the same time, quit this and start doing that and this and that, trust me when I say this, you are going to get overwhelmed and quit and just go back to the old version of you again. Part number 3, cardio. I like to keep this stupid simple. You don't have to be running every single day like a maniac. Sure, if you like running, then go ahead, but it's not necessary like whatsoever. What I like to do is to focus on more walking. It's easy to do, it's not stressful on your body, and most importantly, you get good results. I set the goal of walking 10,000 steps every single day. And how I track this is by using a smartwatch like this, or just downloading an app on your phone. There's so many options out there. Now, I know you might be thinking, damn, 10,000 steps, that sounds like a lot, right? But trust me when I say this, it's really not. An easy way to get so many more steps in is to actually be conscious about it while you're outside. Let me give you an example. If you have the option to take the stairs or taking the escalator, just take the stairs instead. Doing small things like this on a daily basis, trust me when I say this, over time, it makes a really big difference. If you have to do something and it's walking distance away from you, then don't be lazy and take the car. Just walk there instead, and this also makes a big difference. I know that it might not sound like much, but trust me when I say this, walking is so underrated when it comes to losing weight. And I have proof right here on screen as well. Part number 4, training. Now, if you clean up the diet and start doing more walking on a daily basis, you will get good results. But why not build some muscle at the same time, right? This is where the training comes in. You also burn calories when you lift weights, right? So why not get the best of both worlds? We lose some fat and also build some muscle at the same time. And here's another thing. The more muscle you have on your body, the more calories you burn when you rest as well. If you have more muscle, it gets so much easier to lose weight and fat in the future because it increases your metabolism. And when you have a higher metabolism, your body starts burning fat so much faster. I recommend to go to the gym minimum 3 days a week. Start slow and just work on that consistency. The only time that you increase the days that you work out is when you've been consistent for at least a couple of weeks. The same thing like I talked about with the food, right? There is no point of doing too much at the start. That's the mistake that I did. It cost me months and months of progress. When I first started working out, I started with 5 days a week with like no experience. And it only took me a couple of weeks and then I decided to quit. It was once I started to take it slow and just working on that consistency over time that I actually started to see good progress. Like this picture right here. This stuff takes time, but it's so worth it if you just keep going. When it comes to what exercises that you should be doing, I would just focus on compound lifts, bench press, shoulder press, dips, pull-ups, and all those things. The most important thing, in my opinion, when it comes to training is that you learn the exercises properly before you start adding heavy weights. Good form is like everything when it comes to the gym. If you start adding heavy weights before you have good form with the exercise, trust me, in just a matter of time, you will hurt yourself. Part number 5, mindset. I know this might sound so overwhelming to you right now, but I want you to remember this. It is a new lifestyle and not something that you're doing temporary. So don't be stressed about, doing everything at the same time. Focus on one thing at a time and get consistent at that before you start doing anything else. Start cleaning up the diet. Remove the processed foods and replace them with the whole foods that you actually enjoy. Once the diet is cleaned up and you're eating consistently better on a daily basis, that's when you can focus on the other things, doing the more walking and doing the training. Have the mindset that you want to do this for as long as possible. Here's the thing, the only way this is possible is by doing what you actually enjoy and, slowly improve yourself over time rather than feeling the need to rush everything. Trust me when I say this, I have done this myself. I went all in right from the start. And for most people, including me, it just doesn't work out. You get so overwhelmed and eventually you just decide to quit. So take the slower approach instead and build that consistency. If you want me to help you with the things that I just talked about, where you can build a body that you actually feel proud of when you look in the mirror, then just DM me on Instagram. I'll put my username on the screen right here, but also in the description. If you want to know how I will get in shape completely from zero, then click and watch this video next.